Hello everyone, welcome to the Rest Rev, and we're kicking off with WCPW Loaded, the reboot, the big comeback for that WCPW show that we all missed. It's free on YouTube and Twitch again. So the first match we're looking at is the Curb Crawlers against the Prestige. So it was a great start for this show, you know, a show that everybody was waiting for, and it opens up with a 4-on-4 tag team match. You got the good guys and the bad guys. It's classic stuff. But you know, they actually use this match to tell some stories and to build some new rivalries that are going on. For example, the whole deal with Xavier stealing Martin Kirby's briefcase. And well, now Rampage and Primate are on the same team, so I hope that rivalry is finally over. Basically, the match starts with a brawl outside until Xavier Kid does a moonsault to the outside, and then Prince Amin also flies around. Then we get into the ring starting with Gabriel Kidd and BT Gun. BT Gun just selling moves. That was awesome. A beautiful combo by Gabriel Kidd in the corner with a running boot and then a fucking face buster in the middle of the ring. I like how they booked Primate as a dominant hardcore champion. You know, he speared Joe Hendry and speared Joe Coffey, and that was awesome. I also love the spot where BT Gun and Primate just look at each other while running and then both dive to the outside between the second and third rope. That was great. And also after that, BT Gun and Primate just kept rolling to the outside, you know, outside the arena. So that's great. And maybe BT Gun have just found someone as unstable as him, if not more. So that's an awesome option for a hardcore championship rivalry to build up on, you know, BT Gun versus Primate. That would be great. And also, I would think that if WCPW could book the Primate versus Jimmy Havoc, who just won the Tournament of Death this year, that would be great. So anyway, I hope that BT Gun leaving the match will have consequences between the Prestige guys, you know, that Joe Hendry will maybe get mad at him and say that they lost the match because of him leaving the match and stuff. Or maybe they are not going to acknowledge that and just have Primate versus BT Gun for that championship. And if BT Gun manages to defeat Primate, there's more gold for the Prestige, so that's awesome. Then I think my favorite part of the whole match was the whole sequence between Liguero and Martin Kirby. That was awesome. First, Martin Kirby just cancels the bandera, goes for a full Nelson, turns that into a Dragon Sleeper, turns that into a front lock, rolls through and ends up with a Fisherman Buster. And that was so smooth, so quick, so just awesome, man. Like, you gotta appreciate this stuff. After that, we get to see Martin Kirby going for the Soyber elbow, and I really like how they have protect this move, like book this move. Like literally the only time he just hit that move was when he won the world title. So I mean, that's another thing you gotta appreciate about WCPW. And the end, I didn't expect it. I mean, Joe Coffey just took the pin after a saber bump, and Kirby just won the match for his team, and he regains his briefcase, and everything looks good for the good guys. And you know, having Martin Kirby as the babyface, as the antagonist of Joe Hendry, which is the champion and is a heel, that without counting Marty Scurll as the #1 contender, I mean, the heavyweight scene just looks awesome. So I think this was an amazing match and a good kickoff for this video. Then we jump straight into the Super X Cup. We have Drago against Desmond Xavier. You know, we expected this match to be one of the best of the entire tournament, and it kind of wasn't, because it started really like accidented. It wasn't a smooth, fluid speed match that we all were expecting, and it's understandable. I mean, you got a guy that doesn't speak English at all. These two haven't crossed paths again like never before, and so yeah, a couple of botches, a couple of miscommunications. But I think in the half part, after Drago dives to the outside, the match just picks up a little bit, you know. It starts going smoother and faster, and yeah, it just goes from a really kind of disappointing match to a great match, actually. And the end was unexpected. I mean, everybody that doesn't got spoiled on the results of the Impact tapings just thought that Drago was going to win the whole thing because of the AAA GFW deal, and you know, that was the more probable thing to happen. But you have Desmond Xavier beating Drago and advancing to the finals of the tournament, which he's going to face either Ishimori or ACH, and they both are dream matches, and there are going to be killer matches for this show. So yeah, that was a big deal. I mean, Desmond defeating Drago, and yeah, I recommend this match. Don't take this too seriously because, you know, it's kind of accidental in the beginning. Maybe they should have had a previous match at the Indies at some point, but yeah, I don't know. So the end up was great, and I hope Desmond just wins the whole deal. I mean, maybe that's why he signed with Impact Wrestling, because, you know, Impact actually got to go through JT Davidson and Dave Chris, I guess, to get to Desmond to sign with them and not going to NXT. So maybe he was promised to win this whole deal, so that was awesome. But, you know, then he have a kind of an interview with Jeremy Borash, where he had the opportunity to talk and, you know, sell himself to the fans, do something that's not just, you know, in the ring. He has the opportunity to actually develop a character and something like that, not being just the cardiac kid, the guy that flies around. I don't know if I don't want to say that he didn't deliver, but, you know, he could have just shot a little bit more. I mean, he said the stuff that he's going to win that, whoever wins gets in the finals, should be ready for Desmond Xavier. It was alright, you know. Basically, out of this whole Super X Cup, the interviews, the shoots, the promo packages that we had for every wrestler participating in this, I think the guys that better take that opportunity and make the most of it were easily Idris Abraham and Davey Richards. I mean, I don't see any of the other guys. Maybe Drago, because he has someone that actually dubs his voice, and, you know, and they have everything written. He's not improvising. But, you know, out of Davey Richards is already out of Impact because he's going to be a medic or something, and I think Idris Abraham is the only one with potential on the microphone, and as far as I have seen, at least. But yeah, that's just a detail, nothing that ruins the match at all. Then we have an unexpected match, for me at least. Like, just have Alex Gracie versus Matt Riddle, and after Gracie made his heel turning on his partner Archer, finally going solo. I mean, this guy is super entertaining, and I'm glad that WCPW is giving him like the spot to shine, the place to, you know, showcase his talent and what he's capable of. The showcase with Matt Riddle was amazing. Honestly, this new character, this new Gracie that we're seeing, the superstar, it's awesome. I'm a fan right away. The only thing I can maybe complain about is that he didn't have any microphone time. Like, he didn't take the mic at any point, and I would love to see that maybe next time. But yeah, for now this looks awesome. I mean, it was totally unexpected that Gracie got a win over Matt Riddle. You know, the end of the match was kind of weird, but it wasn't botched or anything, so yeah, it was still really cool. It was nice how the match started, but, you know, I would actually like to see Gracie took the mic and say something like, "So Blunt Pit, is this how you're going to act to me, like, after all that I have done for you?" And Matt Riddle just comes here, tries to shake my hand, comes into my house and doesn't even pay respect to me. He just, you know, say something like that, like, you saw what I did to my best friend Archer, imagine what I'm gonna do to you, or something like that. But I hope we get to hear what Gracie has to say real soon in a backstage segment or in ring, or who knows if Archer is going to come back soon. I like that Gracie is keeping the funny stuff, like he's still kind of a goof, you know, making fun of Riddle, playing with the fans, making the fans hating him. That's great. That was one of the biggest appeals that Gracie had, and I'm glad he's conserving that. And also he developed, I mean, I don't know if maybe this is his first high profile match against an international well-known superstar like Matt Riddle, and he developed, like, he didn't botch. I mean, there was kind of an accident in the end of the match where the whole Canadian Destroyer from the second rope stuff, you know, he couldn't sustain himself. But they did that spot again, and I guess the original plan was that Gracie just stops the Canadian and hits Matt Riddle with the crunchy. So aside of that, I mean, Gracie really developed, and the guy has what it takes to be in a high-profile match, be considered a heel in the company. You know, maybe in the mid card, maybe a top guy, but no, I'm just happy for him. And yeah, out of Prospect, I think he was my favorite always, and yeah, this was an awesome showcase for him. He even resisted a leaping tombstone pile driver, so that was great. And I don't know if he's going to keep using the Canadian Destroyer as a finisher, or just keep with the crunchy, or the kill switch, or the unprettier. So yeah, there are 3 possible finishing moves. I hope he just sticks to one. But this is British wrestling, this is independent wrestling, so of course we have to hit like 1,000 finishers to end a match. I know that, but you know, I think the crunchy goes well with him, as well as the unprettier. But come on, stop doing the Canadian Destroyer. Everyone is doing it. I don't know what happened. Then we go right to EC3 versus Moose. Grand Championship match. 3 rounds rounds of 3 minutes, and that was awesome. I gotta say, I just love the new graphics. They are way better than the old ones. I don't get that they changed the color of the screen when the graphics are on, but whatever, just a detail. So I like this match. I like how confident Ethan was. I mean, he was decided to finish this thing in 2 rounds and not let the judges decide his destiny, because you know he actually hates Pritchard, and these two even have got physical and have a rivalry going on. And well, Moose has been undefeated. I mean, Cody Rhodes was the only one to even put up a fight to Moose. The whole Eli Drake stuff wasn't as good and, you know, as intense as of a rivalry, but these two can actually go for a really good rivalry. So these two have crossed paths before, and after being defeated by Alberto, EC3 has put his eyes on that Impact Grand Championship, and these two have been feuding since then. And the multi-man matches they have had, I just love the EC3 and Eli Drake interaction. I mean, maybe this isn't, I like this match because this feud wasn't as personal as previous feuds for that Impact Grand Championship, you know. It was just about winning the title, just fuck with your rival's career or something like that. I mean, the match was really tight. Like, you couldn't tell who did better in the 3rd round, and I love how they use the format of this match. Like, where else in the world are you going to see a wrestling match that is decided by judges? And Impact goes one step further and just takes the judge number 3, Bruce Pritchard, to put a 10-8 in favor of EC3. So that's, I mean, that's using the format that you have and take it to a whole new level and use this to actually build a storyline, you know. A 10-8, that's one of the worst that was one of the worst scores that in the history of this division. An 8, I think it only happened one time before, I don't remember, but yeah, that sucked. And so everybody's mad at Pritchard, you know, everybody's saying Moose should have win. Everybody's another fans like me are just happy about EC3 having a title around his waist again, and I think this has a lot of potential. Like, why in the world will Bruce Pritchard actually help out and give the win to EC3, you know? And you have the Dutch Mantel and Scott D'Amore just arguing about if that was right or wrong. They don't actually know what match Pritchard was looking or watching, and so yeah, then you have Moose totally shocked by the decision, and now he obviously is going to find Pritchard in the backstage and just try to talk to him, try to argue with him. Maybe he's going to face Tyrus first. I don't know, there's so many outcomes for this match, and that's what I loved it so much. And aside of the action, which was intense and that was awesome, I mean, every round was really tight. Maybe the first round is the weakest of them all, but you know, it was also great. Round 2 and 3 were amazing. I really love this format, this division, and you know, they are now taking the gimmick and making something really great out of it. Not using the gimmick in 100%. I mean, just using the 3 rounds of 3 minutes was great, but doing this was cool. The next match is the Sword of Essex, Scott and Ospreay against War Machine. And out of all the outcomes that they could possibly make for this match, they went with the most unpredictable, unbelievable one of them. Like, first of all, of course, I guess that I'm not the only one in this, but I didn't think that War Machine was going to win the titles at all. But not only that, they sell a concussion or something like that on Scott, and he has to be taken out of the match, and basically we have Ospreay versus War Machine. I mean, how unpredictable is that and how cool is that? I mean, I hope Scott is alright, and that was only kayfabe, like for the sake of the match and telling a story, because War Machine are going to defend their tag team titles against the Kings of the North. So maybe they are building up something. Maybe they just want Ospreay to be a top heel, how he should be when he got the chance to defeat Galloway, you know, months ago. But WCPW didn't make that happen, so yeah, that sucked. But I hope Scott is alright, and yeah, the match was great. I mean, it starts with a Superman forearm by Rowan knocking the head off Scott out, so yeah, that was awesome. And as I said, this is basically Ospreay versus War Machine, and we all know how great Ospreay is, especially in WCPW where he's a heel. I mean, the heel turn of Will Ospreay was one of the biggest things that happened, and that's one of the reasons why I love this company so much. They actually take that risk, you know. It's like make Tanahashi heel, or where Stardom did turn in Io Shirai heel in the top heel of the company. So yeah, and it will be even greater if Ospreay would have, you know, defeated Galloway for the world title, but that didn't happen. So talking about this match, it was awesome to to see Ospreay receive so many punishment. It was a couple of teamwork by the sort of Essex, but you know, Scott was out. I hope that's kayfabe again, but yeah, that was great to see Hanson and Robbie just dealing with Ospreay's quickness. And we also got to see Hanson do a very beautiful, well done handspring back elbow. I mean, that was awesome. It wasn't just a shitty, lazy handspring. It was a Tajiri Ospreay level of handspring, so that was amazing. And of course, Robbie of 2 was showing off his agility, doing the bandera, then rolling through, you know, then hitting Ospreay with the shotgun knees into the corner. That was great. And of course, the combo by Ospreay, just doing a shooting star press on Robbie, who was hanging on the ropes, then steps up to the third rope and dives to the outside, the double chicken Nando's. I mean, this guy is just great. He's definitely one of the top guys in WCPW. I don't know what the outcome of this match will be. I mean, aside of War Machine having probably a rivalry with Kings of the North, if Kings of the North actually stay with WCPW for a while, which I hope. Maybe sort of Essex will get a, you know, a rematch, or maybe Ospreay will just go solo from now on, and maybe Scott is going to be out for a couple of weeks, then come back and say, you know, Ospreay, I just hurt myself and you are too busy trying to be the world champion, you didn't even come to visit me, or something like that, you know. I don't know, but the match was awesome. And of course, the unexpected ending was one of the coolest parts. War Machine are just the world champion, the world tag team champions, and the promo that they cut backstage saying that they are the kings of Japan and now the UK and now the world, and that was just great. I mean, look at all that gold. So after that we have the main event for Impact of August 3rd, which is Alberto's family against LAX. So I like how Impact is just obsessed with selling you LAX as the most dangerous faction ever in the history of Impact Wrestling. So that's really cool. I mean, people joining the faction, talking about low-key just stomping the chest of El Patron through the ring. That was amazing. And I gotta say, I love those caras. I mean, the guy got into the ring, had a little exchange with Homicide. That was really funny, really entertaining to watch. I love how Alberto is involving his family in this whole thing. I don't know if he's going to be unsuspended by the time that Destination X comes around. I hope so. I mean, I guess the plan was to have Loki and El Patron in a one-on-one match, but you know, I don't know how that will work out. If they haven't announced yet that El Patron will be back and he's not suspended anymore, and the whole Eli Drake cutting a promo in the live event saying why would anyone want El Patron as their champion. So you know, that kind of sucks, but hopefully Impact has all this, just they already talk about it and they are going to announce it like one day before Destination X. At least that's my prediction. So yeah, the match was great. I mean, a lot of action. I mean, 6 men in the ring. And even if we don't count Dos Caras, I mean, Hijo de Dos Caras was on fire. I mean, the guy got his shit in at all costs, and he's good. I mean, I can see him in the X division, maybe as a champion by next year or something like that. I mean, he's cool. I mean, he's not as smooth if you compare him to the Lucha guys or the X division guys. You know, he's maybe more stiff or more not as smooth, especially when you are making him face Ortiz and Santana, which are really great wrestlers. But this guy has a lot of cool moves. He used a bit of Alberto's repertoire, and you know, he has some moves of his own. He likes to use the ropes, dive himself to the outside. I mean, this guy can go. I mean, he wears a mask, but he looks like a heavyweight. You know, he's a believable heavyweight guy. You know, it's kind of Mil Muertes in Lucha Underground. Like, you know, I like this kind of wrestler. It's out of the box. It's not very often that you see a masked guy with a heavyweight body that can actually be a believable world champion. The other guy will be El Hijo del Fantasma. That will be a great option to have as a world champion. You know, a masked guy that actually looks like a main event player. So yeah, that's great. And yeah, I love how he get his shit in. I hope we get to see him more often, like solo, maybe starting something in the exhibition. I don't know why I'm guessing that he's going to be in the exhibition, but you know, you never know. And I gotta say, I loved his jumping double knee jawbreaker that he did on Homicide. That looked really cool. And also, another thing that you have to appreciate is the chemistry between Santana and Alberto. I mean, every time these two cross paths in the ring, the sparks fly. It's just magic, dude. These two are destined to fight. Like, come on, Impact. We have seen these two cross pass in multi-man matches, but I would love to see these two go in a one-on-one match. We kind of get a try of that when Patron faced off the entire LAX, but you know, maybe in the future Santana will get to be, well, not end EYFEO, like not part ways with Angel Ortiz, but actually have, you know, the place to fight Alberto in a one-on-one, maybe in a one night only pay-per-view. That would be awesome. But you know, just look when these two exchange punishment between each other, like in the ring. That's amazing. Santana and Alberto, man, what a rivalry. These guys are just amazing together. And then the ending of the match was also cool. Basically, they knocked out the referee. They were teasing up El Hijo del Fantasma. I mean, El Hijo de Dos Caras turning on Alberto, his brother. The build-up to that wasn't as good as I would, you know, say, but because they just addressed the situation in one segment backstage and never they didn't even talk about it later. So that was just to make you think that they are going to go with the most predictable thing ever and making Alberto's brother turn on him, but actually they were planning on having low-key attack Alberto and joining LAX. So that was really cool. And you know, he just stomps the shit out of Alberto, gets the win for LAX. And so smooth. I mean, this guy is so great. He just, you know, drags Santana drags Alberto away from the ropes, and he just goes away of the ring to talk to Diamante and Conan. And so this guy is just so awesome, man. And not only this segment was amazing, but the end and the celebration, actually Loki took both GFW and Impact Wrestling titles, you know, lift them up in the air. He could be our world champion, dude. That would be awesome. I mean, who would have thought that Loki will be the one that was going to take those titles away from Alberto? So that's just so cool to think about. And he actually stole those titles. And if you see the interview that they published, like the backstage segment with Homicide and Loki that they published on the YouTube channel, Loki's promo was just on point. It was so cool. And he said basically that Alberto made a mistake not presenting himself to Loki. And you know, he said, you come into my house, put your feet up in my table, and you think that this is, now you're a hero, you think that you mean something in the Impact Zone. You're nothing, because this is my house, I'm low-key, I'm with LAX, so la muerte y después, blah blah blah. So that was an awesome ending for the match. And yeah, I can't wait to see what's going to happen on Destination X. I gotta say that I like how Impact is just saving stuff for later. You know, before they used to just throw everything to your face. Like, this rivalry is going to be over in 3 weeks, dude. Just smashing everything to your face. And that's why the latest episode of tape like series that they have in Orlando, like the last shows before they went live again, used to be the more weakest shows of the entire tapes. And so yeah, so now they are saving things for later. Next week we have multi-man matches, you know, building up something for the Destination X matches. I hope Alberto gets clear to compete at Destination X. I mean, he's not a suspect anymore, but he's still suspended by GFW. They haven't addressed that yet, I mean, at least by the time I'm recording this. So hopefully we're going to have low-key beating Alberto for those both titles at Destination X. And how great will that be? You have a Destination X, you have an X Division original beating Alberto for both world championship to make himself the new unified champion. So that's just awesome. And possibly for Destination X we're going to have new titles. And so yeah, the next match is the main event for WCPW Loaded, of course, from WCPW Loaded from the 3rd of August. We have OReilly versus Marty Scurll. The match was great. I mean, it was all that I expected it to be. Like, it started really slow with mad wrestling going into the ropes and stuff. Then Kyle O'Reilly just don't giving Marty Scurll a clean break, just smashing his face with his forearm. Yeah, a lot of that mad wrestling, that technical stuff, you know, that's just great. Super entertaining to watch. I could watch these two wrestle like all night. I'm sure everyone does. And I like how they build up the spot where Marty breaking Kyle O'Reilly's finger, that they made us wait till the very end of the match to get that satisfaction pop out of, you know, O'Reilly's finger. So that was great. I just love how they build up this match. I guess this is one of the last matches that O'Reilly had on the indies before he appeared on NXT, faced Tommy End or Aleister Black. I don't know what is going to happen with him on NXT, but yeah, this is definitely great stuff. And it's a dream match. I guess this happened at PWG at some point, but I'm not sure. I don't really follow PWG that much because I can't afford the DVDs. And also, I really love how O'Reilly just sold that just kidding super kick. He just bam, blows himself and lands on his head. That was amazing. Of course, the MMA style combos when Scurll goes for the chicken wing, then O'Reilly just slaps him in the face, then kicks his leg, and you know, all the kicks and stuff. That was awesome. And also I noticed that he's using that axe kick and roaring elbow combo as a finisher on NXT. At least that's what I kind of saw when he faced Aleister Black, and that's great. That looks really cool. So anyways, the match lasted really long, and I love what these two did. And of course the ending was really cool too. I mean, you not only got the Marty Scurll breaking O'Reilly's hand, but he goes for his rolls Kyle O'Reilly in a kind of cradle and just wins the match like that out of nowhere. So that was great. And also main event. And you know, you gotta appreciate that we could possibly, I mean, we're having Marty Scurll versus Joe Hendry in a feud. So this is something that many fans have dreamed of. And not only is that a rivalry, but they are feuding like for the world championship. So that's great, right? I mean, that looks awesome. And then you throw Kirby to the mix, and that assures you a really great show. So yeah, just the fact of having Scurll and Hendry in a rivalry, that's just so great, dude. I'm expecting so many backstage segments, maybe an in-ring segment. Maybe it would be a great idea to have a contract signing segment. You know, these two taking the microphone, that would be awesome. I don't know if they are going to involve the Bullet Club again, how they did the Prestige versus the Bullet Club some time ago. I don't think so, but either way, just having these two feuding, talking trash to each other, will be one of the greatest things of the year, I'm sure. That will be it for this edition of the Rest Rev, and I hope you like it. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.